Are you tired of feeling lost in the labyrinth of tax jargon and confusing forms? Most people don't struggle with taxes because they're bad with money. They struggle because no one ever explains the system clearly. Taxes are often taught in fragments, a form here, a rule there, a deadline somewhere else, leaving you without the full picture. This video is your essential guide to demystifying the U.S. tax system. Whether you're a student just starting your financial journey, a young professional navigating your first tax season, a small business owner managing payroll, or simply a curious taxpayer, we're here to simplify it. By the end, you won't know every rule, but you will understand the fundamental structure, how money flows, and why it feels so complicated. This foundational knowledge is key to financial literacy and empowerment. At its core, taxation is a system for funding shared expenses that benefit everyone. Think about the roads you drive on, the schools your children attend, the courts that uphold justice, and the public safety services that protect our communities. These essential services, from national defense to public health initiatives, are all paid for through taxes. This concept isn't new or unique to the United States. Every modern society relies on some form of a tax system. Taxes represent our collective investment in the infrastructure and services that enable a functioning society. They are the financial backbone of our shared well-being and economic stability. What makes taxes confusing isn't the basic concept, but rather the sheer scale and complexity of implementation. The U.S. tax system must accommodate millions of individuals, diverse businesses, and countless unique financial situations. This necessity leads to a layered system, which we will explore together. A common misconception is that the IRS is the tax system. This is inaccurate. The Internal Revenue Service, IRS, is actually the administrative body responsible for enforcing tax laws. It's crucial to understand this distinction to demystify the process. The power to create tax law rests with the U.S. Congress. Through legislative processes, Congress decides what income is taxed, how it's taxed, and at what rates. They also establish deductions, credits, and other provisions to achieve various economic and social policy goals, such as encouraging savings or supporting specific industries. The IRS's role is purely administrative. They collect information, process tax returns, and collect payments. They also send notices when there are discrepancies or when additional information is needed. The IRS does not decide how much tax you owe. The law, as written by Congress, dictates that. Understanding this distinction can alleviate a lot of fear and confusion. The system is rule-based and designed to be applied consistently, not personally. It operates on established laws, providing a framework for all taxpayers. The tax system often feels complicated for several key reasons, which are rooted in its design to be fair and comprehensive. First, it must handle a vast array of income types. Wages from a job, profits from a small business, investment gains, and retirement distributions are all treated differently under the law. Each income source has specific rules and reporting requirements. Second, the system aims to account for varying abilities to pay. This is where concepts like deductions, credits, and progressive tax brackets come into play. Deductions reduce your taxable income, while credits directly reduce the amount of tax you owe, often benefiting lower and middle-income taxpayers or encouraging specific behaviors like education or energy efficiency. Tax brackets ensure that higher earners pay a larger percentage of their income in taxes. Third, the U.S. operates on a self-reporting model. This means you, the taxpayer, are responsible for calculating your taxes first. The IRS then reviews your submission for accuracy and consistency. This model places the initial burden of calculation on individuals and businesses, which can feel daunting without proper guidance. When people ask, "Why can't taxes just be simple?" they often mean, "Why can't my situation be simple?" For many, once the underlying structure is understood, the process becomes far less intimidating. The complexity often arises from the need for fairness and precision across a diverse economic landscape. Let's break down the core structure of how money flows through the tax system. At a high level, the process is quite straightforward. You earn income, the law defines how that income is treated, a tax amount is calculated, payments are made throughout the year, and everything is reconciled annually. This fundamental flow applies to almost every taxpayer, from an individual employee to a small business owner. First, you earn income from various sources: a salary, freelance work, investments, or rental properties. The tax code then specifies which portions of this income are taxable and how they are categorized. This step is crucial for determining your overall tax liability. Next, based on your income, deductions, and credits, a tax amount is calculated. This calculation determines your total tax obligation for the year. Many taxpayers, especially those employed, have taxes withheld from each paycheck, making payments throughout the year. Small business owners and freelancers typically make estimated tax payments quarterly. Finally, once a year, you reconcile these estimated payments with your actual tax liability. Your tax return is not merely a bill, it's a comprehensive reconciliation document. It compares what you've already paid throughout the year to what the law says you actually owed. If you paid more than your obligation, you receive a refund. If you paid less, you owe the difference. This reconciliation process ensures accuracy and fairness for both the taxpayer and the government. For many individuals, taxes often feel invisible until a specific event, like filing a return, brings them into sharp focus. This passive interaction is largely due to systems like income tax withholding. When you're an employee, your employer estimates your tax liability and automatically deducts a portion from each paycheck, sending it directly to the IRS. This system ensures that taxes are paid incrementally throughout the year rather than in one large sum. While convenient, this withholding process can create the illusion that taxes are something that happens to you, rather than a system you are actively participating in. However, whether you see the deductions on your pay stub or make quarterly estimated payments as a small business owner, the underlying structure remains the same: income, rules, calculation, payment, and reconciliation. For students and young adults entering the workforce, understanding withholding is a key step in financial literacy. For small business owners, managing estimated taxes and payroll taxes for employees is a critical part of financial planning. Once you grasp this consistent structure, individual tax topics, like understanding your W-2 or 1099 forms or the implications of different deductions, stop feeling random. They begin to make sense as interconnected parts of a logical whole. Understanding how the tax system works doesn't mean you'll suddenly enjoy paying taxes. However, it does bring significant benefits: less fear, less shame, and less confusion. It provides you with invaluable context, transforming a seemingly opaque process into something comprehensible. When you hear about deductions, credits, audits, notices, or refunds, you'll know exactly where they fit within the larger framework. This knowledge empowers you to make informed financial decisions, whether it's choosing between different investment vehicles, understanding the impact of a new business expense, or simply reviewing your paycheck. It helps you identify opportunities for tax savings and avoid common pitfalls. Our goal is not to overwhelm you with every single tax rule, but to equip you with the foundational understanding needed to navigate the system calmly and clearly. This clarity is a cornerstone of financial literacy, enabling you to manage your money more effectively and confidently. Don't let tax season be a source of dread any longer. By understanding the fundamental principles we've discussed today, you've taken a powerful step towards financial empowerment. Now, it's time to put that knowledge into action.